Imagine sitting down with your funniest, practical, and most straight-talking friend who also happens to be obsessed with helping you have a better wedding, because that's the vibe of today's episode. I'm chatting with Joe Carso from Do Better Weddings, a US Army officer by day and unapologetic coach for grooms by night, who has seen more than his fair share of weddings at such a young age. He's on a mission to help men seriously lift their groom game. He shares some eye-opening mindset shifts and super practical ideas that make it easier for grooms to stop being passengers and actually show up as real partners in the planning, on the day, and beyond. We talk about what it looks like when a groom is genuinely present and supportive, how tiny, thoughtful actions can completely shift how supported a bride feels, and why "I don't care, do whatever you want" isn't the easygoing line a lot of guys think it is. And along the way, Joe gives you the language and actionable step-by-step tips that you can literally hand to your groom so he knows exactly where to start and what to do next. Joe and I had a chat about this before we started, and we agreed that while a lot of his advice is absolutely applicable across the board for all couples, he just primarily focuses on grooms because, to be honest, they need the most help. They are perhaps the least spoken to group of people during wedding planning, and they're the ones who really need to get on board. And so that's why Joe, in particular, focuses on these guys. This is the gap that Joe has seen in his day-to-day dealings with his friends and family and in their weddings. And because Joe is driven to overserve, he's also created a free Groom survival guide for Unbridely Podcast listeners. It is packed with simple, doable ways for grooms to pull their weight and feel proud of how they've shown up. And Joe shares exactly how your groom can get his hands on this guide right at the end of the episode. So if you're tired of feeling like the default project manager of your own wedding, or you've got a groom who wants to help but needs a game plan, Joe's got you. Let's get stuck into it. Unbridely is a community of pro-wedding vendors who believe in freedom and integrity in weddings, giving you options, solutions, tips and tricks to create the experience and memories that you and your fiancé really want and deserve. Because we believe that weddings are a team sport. With how-tos, stories and interviews with recently married couples, we find out what went right and what they'd change if they could go back and do it all over again. I'm Camille, and welcome to the Unbridely Podcast. Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for joining me from the other side of the planet.
Hey, Camille. Thank you so much for taking the time. The Unbridely Podcast, I've listened to your stuff. It's awesome. We're all about switching things up and going non-traditional and making things really feel like us in the wedding planning space. And I'm so glad you're a voice for that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh, no, Joe, honestly, I could tell from the second I stalked you on Instagram. I had one of your, I think it was like a trial reel, come up in my feed. And I'm like, who is this kid? Like, what the hell is he on about? And your enthusiasm, like, seriously got me. And that was the first thing. Then the second thing was you were talking so much truth. And I'm like, these things don't get said. So we'll dive into that. But first of all, who the hell are you? Where the hell are you? And what are you talking about?
Yeah. Again, thanks for having me. I'm Joe Carso, son of Michael and Amy Karsanovich, and I'm currently serving in the United States Army. I'm an officer. And this is kind of like my moonlighting for the time being. I will be getting out of service here soon. And as part of that, I want to start going off into my own business. And I've just, being in the military, there's a stereotype over here in the States that a lot of people get married very young. I've been to probably, since I graduated college in 2018, I've been to probably a dozen weddings, been lucky enough to be a groomsman at about 5. And so I've seen a lot of this space. And as
sorry, Joe.
Oh, what's up?
How old are these couples that are getting married?
Oh, sometimes 22.
Wow.
I graduated in May, and like the day after graduation, some of my classmates were getting married.
Sorry, that is so
It's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
From an Australian perspective, like that's like babies. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Having a
Yeah.
baby at 25, that's a teen pregnancy to me. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
Sorry. Okay, I'll get my head around that one. Great, great. Keep
Yeah.
telling us. So you've been to over a dozen weddings already.
I have, yeah. I've been to a bunch, and it's kind of crazy. I'm up 29, and I've been to so many weddings, and it's always a special event. And I think weddings are the ultimate party, they're the
Yeah.
ultimate social event, especially here in the States. So you learn a lot about people through how they express themselves at these parties.
Right. Yeah. But what I saw on your Instagram, Joe, was that you don't seem satisfied with the status quo of how things are going. And in particular, I don't want to say you pick on grooms, but you've got some very constructive criticism to share with them. Where does that come from?
Well, first, I enjoyed being amongst the living, and I would never dare critique a bride on her ideas for her wedding. So that's one, survival instinct. But two, as I've been fortunate enough to be in those get ready rooms with the grooms, and I've buddies that have varying levels of, let's say, involvement with the wedding, and I get to pick their brain. And sometimes I went to Catholic high school. Sometimes I'm the only guy that knows how to confidently tie a tie, and I take a lot of pride in that. And I think a lot of guys want to do better and certainly can do better. And what we like to say is anything you can do better. And so let's just focus on the little things for some marginal benefit for everybody. And we could all be better grooms to our brides.
It's a big stereotype over here in Australia that, and we're talking for heterosexual couples, Joe, like it's just sometimes easier to like pick one through line in a story. But, obviously a lot of this applies to different couples, same sex couples, all the things. But we've got this stereotype in Australia that when a heterosexual couple get married, a lot of the time the groom just says, tell me what to wear and tell me when and where to show up. And that's the involvement.
Yeah, that's tough. So like we'll get to it when we talk about our mindset shift. But if you think about it, another stereotype here in dating in the States is that guys should be the ones planning the dates, making sure time, place, dress code, dinner, activity, all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I go buy a ring and now I just sit back. Craziness.
Yeah.
I just don't. I've seen some of my buddies, to give my friends some credit, I've seen a lot of my buddies do well at this too.
Sure.
And so a lot of the advice I give is from seeing the right answer versus the wrong.
So, yeah, in this reel, I think you were going hard on, just little things that grooms can do along the way. They don't have to be superheroes. You're not, encouraging them to like spend all their money or anything like that or treat their bride like a princess. It's just like meeting them halfway. And it just seems so bloody reasonable for you to be talking about this stuff, but it never gets said. So I wanted to get you on, Joe. I want you to say it. I want you to share with my listeners, like your best tips, like what you've seen. And, obviously, dear friends of Joe, he's not hanging you out to dry. He's just trying to share what he thinks works.
Yeah, if you have issues, you know where to find me if you're one of my friends. We could just dive right into the top 5 things I have prepared for grooms to improve themselves throughout the wedding process, if that's good with you.
Yeah, totally. Because I saw that you had so much advice and I thought, okay, let's rein this in. Let's, keep it to maybe an hour podcast. Yeah, 5. What are your 5 best tips for grooms to do better?
Well, my mom's super pumped because she's known me since a kid to be just Mr. Advice, Mr. I have one thing to say. But today you're allowing me to say 5, so that's great. We're going to go from kind of mindset, and then we'll bounce back and forth between something tactical, like something concrete, and mindset. We'll start with mindset, is that I believe the groom should be the glue guy. I'm not sure if that's a colloquial phrase that's made it down to y'all yet. But the glue guy is the one that keeps everything together. It's kind of the rock. He is the person that, the fiance, the bride might be getting high, getting low throughout the planning process. But the groom is the glue guy that keeps everything together, listens to her, helps her out where he can. And most specifically, in his involvement is talking to the vendors, talking with other family members, because my buddies have told me that as soon as she gets an engagement ring, everyone in the family has an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone thinks they know how you should do things. But as the groom, you are the rock to your bride, and you need to support her the whole way, not just some hippy dippy, like, let's just be nice to her. Like, listen to what she has to say. And then when needed, intervene with the other people outside y'all's relationship.
I've never heard of glue guy before.
Yeah.
I love it. And I can imagine a cape and, lycra suit with a big G on it. I get what you're saying. Like, just be there. Support her, for God's sake.
It's good.
That's great. Okay. Number 2, what do you got, Joe?
Number 2. Okay. A couple of videos that have done great for me, which is more importantly, great for grooms, is trial hair and makeup. It seems like such a niche thing that most guys don't even know about. But to the guys listening that don't know this, and to the brides that are listening, you know this. You're going to do trial hair and makeup before you commit to whatever style or the stylist you're going to use for your wedding day. And that takes hours, from my understanding. Am I correct in that, Camille?
Oh, mate. It's a dress rehearsal.
Yeah, and it costs hundreds of dollars. She's going to be sitting in this chair with a stranger for multiple hours, and she's going to look awesome, just to be clear. And what I've heard from some stylists is that a lot of brides either wash it out right there or say that they're just going to go home and run errands and do random stuff. But I'm saying, what an easy win for grooms to have something planned to put that trial hair and makeup to good use. And I think having a date night, put on a suit, put on a jacket. It could be your rehearsal dinner suit, whatever you're going to wear, and take her out somewhere nice. We've got nice establishments here like Chili's, Texas Roadhouse. Those could be some good ideas. Now, you could also go try out where you're going to have your rehearsal dinner, maybe somewhere a little fancier than that, if that's possible. But I think that's one great option for trial hair and makeup.
That's so good, Joe. I did see that reel, and just even you were shaking a bunch of flowers in front of the camera and just went, get her some flowers. Damn it, guys. Get her some flowers. Maybe take the plastic off, that you get from the petrol station, for goodness sake. Just a little bit of effort. And I think, you're right. Grooms don't know that this trial thing is going to happen, and it's, it can be anywhere between, I don't know, a month, 2 months before the big day. But even for a groom to go to his bride, so when's your trial? Like, that would blow a bride away, so then he could plan something and do something nice and make it something memorable.
Absolutely. Don't let it go to waste. It's a great night. Y'all are going to look great. I've heard some other suggestions from photographers that if you could plan some bridal shoots, she's not going to be in her dress, but some sort of, additional photos. Everyone likes pictures of their pretty girl. Pretty girls like pictures of themselves when they're all done up. It's a win for everybody. And I know there might be some ladies listening thinking, well, I don't want my groom to see my hair and makeup before the day of. I've got an answer for you as well.
Stop it.
We're going to have the groom sponsor a girls' night out with all of her friends in the local area. Again, some triple dippers at Chili's. Great.
Are you sponsored by Chili's?
I'm not. I should be, though. It's a great option where the groom doesn't necessarily spoil the surprise for himself. And then while she's out, I also recommend just clean the house up a little bit, do some chores. It's like, what a great moment to honor your bride and make her have some fun. And then you can take on some of the load of the chores, because in most cases, I know very well that grooms aren't carrying the weight of planning.
I love that, Joe, because that's what was going through my mind. It's all fine if the bride is happy to, reveal, the makeup look, the hair look, the whole thing. But if she's not, then send her out with her best friend. Make sure that she has a memorable and fun time. That's really cool. Yeah. Because do you know what? The biggest thing about this hair and makeup trial is, I know for a lot of women doing it, they feel guilt. They know that they kind of need to do it because you can't just, expect everything to go perfectly on the wedding day. So you do that trial. But then there's the guilt about spending the money on the trial and making it, inverted commas, worthwhile. Love it.
Yeah. It's just consider it just like she's getting hair and makeup done, and we're going to go make a night of it. And you should not feel guilty, ladies. This is a very important part. I liken it to as important as your dress fitting, as important as the groom getting fitted for his tux. It's the same level of importance, but this one you get to bring home with you. And so bring it home, and we're going to go out somewhere nice.
Joe, you're a legend. Okay, number three.
So this is a little bit more metaphorical, but, for guys, make your free throws. Your bride is not going to tell you to do too many things, but what she does tell you to do, you need to do without her asking a second time. So that means wrangling your groomsmen, specifically get them to get fitted for their suits on time, the right way, get them to order all of this stuff without your bride having to check up on you. If you get an assignment, whatever it might be, no matter how small, you need to treat it like the whole wedding depends on it, brother, because this might be the only thing that you're asked to do. And if you mess that up, no good.
And it's one of the biggest stresses. My day job, if you like, is as a celebrant. So I get people married, and then I chat with people all over the world on the podcast. And then I'm in wedding chat groups and stuff like that. It might be number one or number two biggest gripe of brides is that, because they get told, include him, bring him in, make him a part of it, give him a little job that he can do well, like we're just, leading him along. And then they do, and then nothing happens. And the stress that rises through the bride when it's getting to, 6 weeks, 5 weeks, and she knows full well that the groom and groomsmen, they don't have their clothes. They haven't even had a look at them. They haven't, whatever the little task might be. Yeah. Hit the nail on the head, Joe. Yeah.
And it's tough because a lot of these grooms have jobs that they take a lot of pride in. Maybe you're a project manager for construction. Maybe you work in finance, or you do something else. When your 40-year-old boss tells you what to do, you do it, yes, sir, and I do whatever they say to the best of my abilities.
You jump.
Exactly. But when the love of your life, the future mother of your children, tells you to wrangle your so-called best friends to do something that is a 30-minute administrative task
and should be fun,
all of a sudden it's like, I can't do it. It should be fun. Yeah, it should be great. It's just disappointing because I know guys are better than this. And I could see where the stress comes from the bride when she's like, well, if I had just done this, it would have been done already and I wouldn't be stressing about this. It's just these guys, like I said, we can do better and we will do better.
And these points, Joe, quite frankly, it's you start as you mean to go on, right? As you said, in American culture in particular, the guy's planning the dates and he makes all the initiative and he does all the stuff. And then the ring goes on and it feels like, and it might be a stereotype, looking from over here, but I know it's definitely in Australia. The guy just takes the back seat then. He's a passenger. He's another child for the bride for the rest of their married life. And it's just, I don't know. We can, as you say, do better. It's good. Start as you mean to go on.
And you're not being mean enough. I will. These grooms, I'll be mean to them. We're not being passenger princesses, boys. All right? We need to, and again, if ladies, I don't know if your audience is mostly ladies listening to this, I assume, just send this episode to them, no context, and see if they listen to it. Okay? Because it's just like another task. This episode will be, as long as it is. And have them listen to this. And just because they get ideas and maybe it's not a total surprise anymore, give them some credit for it. Give credit for the guys. That's all we need. A tiny little pat on the back for being the good boys and taking stuff out of the plastic. Of course, should be expected. We get after the grooms, but then also make sure we acknowledge them when they get there.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't want to punish the grooms, but I want to bring them up to speed. I feel like they've been just lagging behind a bit and we can get them jogging with us. What's tip number 4 from you, Joe?
So tip number 4, this is an ongoing thing that grooms should look for. This is very, very specific, but set up your bride and the people closest to her at every turn you possibly can. Every time where your bride is around people during this process that she cares about, you will be there, maybe not physically, but your presence will be felt. Because, first example, when she's going and getting fitted for her dress, you're going to figure out when and where that's happening. You're going to send ahead a handwritten note to her, maybe to her mom, her sisters, whatever it might be. You're going to make sure there are flowers in this fitting room. You're going to make sure there are beverages, alcoholic or otherwise. You're going to make sure there's some food there, because whether she will want to eat it or not, she will be wearing that dress and she will be fed, hopefully, at some point during the day. And so she does have to practice being fed in the dress. And then also, an idea I thought of just before we hit record is have a little playlist of a couple of your favorite songs that you might like, because she's also going to have to practice dancing around in this dress. And so why not all of these things combined is just one beautiful package of the groom cares. Even though he's not physically with us, he is supporting us through beverages, food, music, and most importantly, love.
I've never heard anything so caring and thoughtful and really smart too, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, this is easy stuff, guys.
Seriously, you're right. It's not that hard. It might be like half an hour of, maybe working some things out. And let's face it, groom, maybe groomsmen, maybe they're on the golf course. Maybe they're, I don't know, at the pub that day. It's really lovely. And even if that gown, that dress, that outfit, whatever the hell they're choosing is a surprise, it doesn't mean that you can't not influence, but be a part of that in a small way as well. Yeah, make your presence felt.
Yeah, everywhere.
You still haven't written your vows yet, have you? Let me help. In around 20 minutes or so, you can easily write personalised wedding vows unlike anything you've heard before, that will make your fiancé feel like the most loved, understood and appreciated person on the planet. The How to Write Wedding Vows That Don't Suck instant download 17-page PDF ebook walks you through a step-by-step format for your vows, how to find the right words and phrases to describe your feelings and your fiancé, how to write that crucial first draft, and create your final wedding vows masterpiece. So if you don't know how or even where to start, if you've been Googling your little heart out, or if you've been calling them wedding vows, AEIOU, this ebook is for you. Included in there are also some bonus secrets for getting the most out of your wedding ceremony. So make sure you download your copy right now and get Write Your Wedding Vows crossed off your to-do list today. The link is in the show notes.
The next one after that, hair and makeup, we've already discussed that. The getting ready room, when on the day of the wedding, little handwritten note, maybe a little gift, just a little something so that she knows that you're thinking of her, even though you're probably still sleeping, because the ladies get ready way before the men even wake up. They start that crazy process of hairspray, highly caffeinated beverages, alcohol, that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even go near that, fellas. Even as groomsmen, don't go near that. It's just craziness. But you can, again, just send over some stuff, little flowers, whatever it is. These things are simple. They're easy. You get easy wins. And more importantly than any of these wins and losses analogies I use a lot of sports. I'm wearing my Tom Brady jersey. But it makes her feel seen, thought of, and cared for, which is always what we should be doing as grooms through this entire process.
No, that's beautiful. That's really cool, Joe. Just the smallest little touch points. And as you said, it doesn't have to drain your bank account to do these things. It's just being a step ahead, anticipating a little bit. And is that all your tips?
I've got one more for the fifth.
Go.
All right, let's fire away on number 5. We're turning up the romance, fellas.
Okay.
All right, we've talked about this. I saved this kind of towards the end of the tips because, in the beginning, when you first walked up to this lady or when you first started dating her, you were on your P's and Q's. You were, am I texting her back too fast? Is she texting me back too fast? Am I talking too much? Is she, am I planning the right dates? I'm telling the boys, give me some strategies to win this girl's heart. And then all of a sudden you spend a couple bucks on a ring. And then for the next 9 months to a year of planning, all you say to her is all right, whatever you want, babe. One of your friends asks you, how's wedding planning going? And you say, I don't know. Ask her. That's just crazy. When the ring goes on, we got to step it up a notch. Okay. And so when it comes to romance, here's the thing. I'm not an expert in this. All right. Like there are plenty of ladies out there that would vouch for that. But I do know everyone likes a clean house. Everyone likes when they don't have to do the chores. And so if you see your lady pounding away on an Excel spreadsheet on the phone with vendors and she doesn't want you anywhere near her, I'm sure she would love for you to be in the laundry room, in the kitchen cooking, in the house cleaning. These are romantic things at that point that takes a load off of her while she's doing something for the both of y'all. So, fellas, when the ring goes on, we got to crank up the romance in every way possible.
Do you know what? There is nothing hotter than your future partner in life just picking up the slack when you're busy. Seriously, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, and guys are listening to this, maybe they got sent this and now they're at this part where they feel like they're getting chastised. It's coaching. Okay. It's all it is coaching. And a lot of times you don't know, this is a new phase of life for, most guys getting married. They've never been through this before. And this is just what you got to do. Just seek work. And it's such a vague thing to say, but I'm going to be specific. She doesn't touch a garbage bin, a rubbish bin. She doesn't touch dishes. She doesn't touch cooking as much as feasible throughout this whole process to just make her feel seen. I'm not saying you got to just do everything all the time, but as much as you can, help her out, because behind the scenes, she's holding a lot of the emotional weight of decisions and you're maybe not. And that's just the way you can help.
And it's I had an interview like last week and the wedding planner was saying, it's just a little dance. It's a little dance and you continue it for the rest of your life. When one person leads, the other one follows, and you go back and forth throughout your entire marriage, throughout your entire life. So if she's like up to her neck in planning, as you said, spreadsheets, all the things, RSVPs are flying in, opinions from the relatives, my goodness, it never stops. Then if your partner can just ease life a little bit better, then you're both a better team. You're both a better team when you're going into your marriage.
Absolutely. Yeah, we like to say with team, together, everyone achieves more. And so she might not ask you for help, but you need to continuously seek ways to help. Hey, can I be the one that calls and schedules the tasting? That's an easy one. I'll go find different cake places for you and line it all up based on what you like. It's like there are things she can slice off for you, but she might be just so in the trenches with what's going on that she doesn't even think what to delegate to you. Yeah. And so just sit with her for a little bit, even if you're not like directly helping her, and you will see things that's like, all right, I can be the one to be emailing and contacting through our joint email, whatever, and contact these places and doing the admin. But of course, the lady is going to have the last say. I will always support that part. And fellas, when she says she doesn't want your opinion on taste, that's fine. But when there are things that you can just execute, like we would say, like chopping wood and carrying water, just the fundamentals of administrative and operational execution. We do it at work all the time. We get paid some money to do that at work all the time. Apply it here. You don't have to make the decisions, but you can help execute when the decisions are made.
Now that's cool, Joe. So yeah, do you recall the 5 things? Can you rattle them off? Because I can't remember.
Absolutely, I can. Well, I'll do better at making them more memorable for you. Number 1, be the glue / the calm that your bride needs. Number 2, trial hair and makeup is an automatic date night or girls' night out, depending on her preference. Number 3, make your free throws. If she gives you a task, you do it without her having to ask you to do it again. Number 4, set up her and her friends and family at every turn. Whether it's the dress fitting or the getting ready room, you are there in spirit supporting them in whatever way you can. And number 5, turn up the romance. We're not getting our diploma when we get the ring. We're graduating and moving into a new phase of life, and we're cranking up that romance as much as we possibly can.
Brilliant, Joe. Seriously, it's really good. And you're right, it's not chastising. It's not, I don't want to hate on anyone who might not have thought about this, but you're right. It's suggestions, it's coaching, it's just how to be the best we can, because, the idea is we're only doing this once, right? So
right.
Let's do it right kind of thing.
Yeah, let's do it right. Stop with the, if one of your buddies, one of your dude friends asks you, hey, what's the plan for this? What's the plan for that? Like what time, where do I need to be? Do not be the guy that says, oh, ask her.
Yes.
Or, oh, I don't know. What's the invite say? Just have that information on you. You know, in the day of technology, you can have that shortcut in your phone, a picture of the invitation. This is what it is. I'm not saying you have to have everything off the top of your head, but every time I see like one of my buddies and a guy asks him a question, he's like, you're going to have to ask my fiance. It's like, well, either you need to ask your fiance because that's your lady, dude. And you're probably going to get chastised for not knowing, or you should probably just know that information.
Yeah, you're right. It is that emotional labor of holding it and being the font of all knowledge. And it's like, no, actually, this isn't, you know, for a woman marrying a guy, you don't want to marry like an extra dependent, you know? You want to marry an equal. You want to marry someone who's in it with you the whole way rather than someone who's just deferring, doesn't put anything in. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's really great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go a step further. No one wants to marry a loser, right? And guys, we got to stop being losers, all right? We got to be winners throughout this wedding planning process. And what does winning look like? Winning looks like supporting your teammates as much as possible. To use another sports metaphor.
You're big on the sports, yeah.
Yeah, I'm huge on that's really all that's going on in my brain.
I can tell.
I think a lot of guys, especially guys like me that grew up playing sports, these are good analogies because when coach is getting after you, I guess I'm coach in this situation. When coach is getting after you, it's not because we're mad at you. It's not because we're, it's not because I have the best answers or that I'm even the best player. Coaches don't play. But if coach is right about trying to get the best possible teamwork out of you and your bride, we got to listen to coach.
Love it, Joe. Love it. Not enough is said, and I really appreciate you putting this stuff out there. Did you have an extra mindset shift? The one last message?
Yeah, just the overall mindset shift. We alluded to it at the beginning. Go with what brought you here, okay, in terms of the relationship. And what brought you here to this point in the relationship is being the guy that would be forward planning, anticipating her needs, especially early on in the relationship. Making sure that the dates were set up right, that you were looking good, that you were supportive. That doesn't go away after the engagement shoot. That doesn't go away when you're 6 months out of the wedding. Honestly, as my high school lacrosse coach, Coach Katz, would say, he's like, the wedding is really the beginning. And that's where you begin your lifelong commitment to each other. And if you think it's going to get easier from here, no, you've made it to the playoffs, you've made it to the championship, and now it's time to build a legacy, a dynasty, if you will, of always doing your best for your teammate. And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect, but that means you're going to give your best effort at all times and be thinking of the people around you and not just being thumbs in thinking about yourself.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Thanks, Camille. But let me turn this on you a little bit, if you will.
Go. What do you got?
Give me something. I'm always trying to learn from the ladies' perspective because a lot of times y'all, especially as a celebrant, what are some things that you've seen great out of Grooms? What are some things you wish you could say to Grooms before the day of? Like, is there anything that I'm missing here or anything that I could learn from you as someone who's seen a lot of Grooms in your time?
Oh, wow. So much. So much. I guess it really, there's so many little individual interactions that I have with Grooms and the groomsmen and everything. And I think you're spot on when you're talking about just that mindset that, just being able to find a woman who likes you enough, put a ring on her finger and send her on her way to do all the work is just like, what are people doing? So when it's a groom who understands that all the dating, all the, them being together, getting engaged, planning this wedding and then going about their lives is just a new chapter, and as you said, not an ending, then that sort of mindset shift in a guy means that they continue the effort and they continue the input and they continue to care about what's coming. The biggest thing I love in ceremonies is giving that hope, because if you're going into marriage, if you're going into a wedding and you don't have hope that the future is going to be better than what you've already had, then you shouldn't be going in there anyway, in my humble opinion. And so grooms who get that the best is yet to come, they put in more effort. They care more. They don't just brush things off and go, oh, colours, that's for you. It might be for the bride. That's completely fine. But just have an opinion and contribute a little bit and be a part of it, because you're not, this silent passenger. Like, you're in there together. Literally, you are the team, you and her. So, yeah, if you can get your mindset shift to the new chapter of what's about to come, of what you're going to achieve together, then I think you just naturally put in a little bit more. You know, they're the grooms who actually talk to me. That's nice. That's lovely. Rather than someone who's just there as if it's some sort of punishment. You know, it's like, oh, we've got to go through the ceremony rehearsal. Here we go. And they might they might not even introduce themselves, but they'll go, Camille, how long's this going to take? And it's like, no, wrong question, mate. Wrong question. You know, it's just that thought of it'll take as long as it takes to get the best result we can, because we're only doing this once. And that's the love of my life over there pretending to come down the aisle towards me as we do this rehearsal. So I think you can change it all with your perspective, which is like the coolest thing of all, because it doesn't take a bucket load of influence, power, the right family, all the money in the world. You don't have to have the top job if you support each other, you know? So, yeah.
No, that's great. I think what I heard you say is have an opinion. And I can't tell you the number of times, you know, say a lady, we're about to go on a date. She holds up 2 dresses. She asks me which one I like better. I'm always wrong. I can tell you this right now. I have never been right as to which one's better.
Correct.
But what I'm not going to do is sit there and say, oh, I don't care. Oh, you pick. Because that's going to be way worse. I promise to all the fellas, that's way worse. And so at every turn during the wedding planning process, she might say, which do you like better, these flowers or those flowers? Pick one, dude. Because she doesn't really, matter. She doesn't. And that's a funny thing with ladies. They'll openly agree with me when I say you don't really care what he thinks.
No.
But you care that he cares enough to have an opinion.
It's the input, because it's not, when you hear I don't care, that's complete disengagement from whatever it is. Doesn't matter what the conversation is. I don't care. You don't? Why don't you care? You know, because, you figure you're in this together. So, have an opinion, even if it's the wrong opinion. Like, that's even better.
That's okay, because what you can't have is have the wrong opinion and also be seen as not helping, because that's twice as bad or worse. Yeah. And to talk more about guys introducing themselves to you, the perspective I've been told by other guys getting married is that you're really hosting this party. Like, you are, you know, yes, your parents might be helping you out. They might be hosting, but it's about you. And that can be very uncomfortable for guys, you know. And if you were hosting a house party and your wife was doing all this work, would you at least go through the motions of meeting everyone that comes in? Would you at least help her take things out? Of course you would. Would you open the front door to the people? Exactly. Shake their hand. It's like, if you don't know somebody, you're welcoming them into your home. You're not going to be the guy, the husband, the man of the house, standing in the corner, not circulating with people. And maybe that's uncomfortable for guys. And I want to empathize with them because I'm extremely extroverted. But look, man, it's not about me. It's her weekend. Yeah, man. So if you want to look at it this way, you're a role player, you are an employee on staff, and your job is to be a gracious host. Okay. And if you need to think of it that way, that is the best way to support your bride through what is going to be a very stressful but great weekend for her. That's your role. Play it.
I find that, you know, because I do work with a lot of very introverted couples, and because I think I'm a little bit patient in pulling out their best side, and I'm sort of known for that. But just because you're introverted doesn't mean that you can't contribute. And I think that if you're getting married to someone, your partner understands that. They understand whatever your strengths aren't, you know, you understand that about each other. So you'd obviously plan a wedding where, you know, perhaps the groom isn't the center of attention the whole time. And perhaps he gets a little bit of respite at certain times of the timeline of the wedding day to be able to step back from all the people. Maybe you plan a wedding that's, you know, got a fewer number of guests in a much more relaxed location as well. Just bring down those, scary factors for you. That's what you're going to do, though, as a partnership. You're going to work that out. So then you're not, just overwhelmed all the time during the planning. You can still contribute without, I guess, not being yourself.
So another thing that a buddy of mine has told me was that at some point during the wedding, he pulled his bride aside during the reception when everything was at the height of its chaos, and they just kind of disappeared off the dance floor for a minute and just took like 5-10 minutes just to sit with each other and like gossip and just enjoy each other's presence and have that quiet moment. It doesn't have to be during the reception. It can be before cocktail hour. It can be at any point. But as a groom, what a great thing. Again, a little tip at the very end for the loyal listeners of the Unbridely podcast. Just be the groom that grabs a little plate of food, maybe a little dessert, maybe a little alcoholic beverage, and be like, all right, no photographers, no anyone, no anything. Get away from me. My bride and I are going to sit here, have a moment, and then we'll be right back out.
Joe, that's the best thing I've ever heard, like ever. It's what you probably want to need most when everything's a little bit crazy. And that's life, right? That's your married life afterwards. Sometimes you've got to pull each other back and go, baby, you okay? Here, eat. You all right?
Yeah.
Give you a hug. Yeah, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Did you see that? Yeah, me too. Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you feeling good? Have a drink. You want to head back out? You want to go to our party? Okay, let's go. What an amazing chance to recharge your connection, your love, and the bloody reason why you're getting married in the first place.
You said that great, Camille. I've got no notes. That's awesome. What a great way to wrap this up.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. It's great. Really, really good tips, Joe. So, for my listeners who are going, Joe talks a lot of sense. Where can people find you?
Y'all can find me at Do Better Weddings on Instagram. We're working on getting a website. We're going to have a groom guide by the end of this week, or whenever we're posting this. I'll make sure we have a link. And all of the listeners of the Unbridely podcast can go on there, get that groom survival guide for free, and just send that along to the groom. Brides, don't even worry about reading it. It's all right. I promise. Don't spoil the surprise for yourself.
I've got your back.
If you don't want to, I've got your back. And you can find me again on Instagram at Do Better Weddings.
Absolute pleasure, Joe. And, your mum would be proud. You didn't swear once.
Not one time. See, Mom, I told you I could do it.
Be proud, Mum. Be proud. Have a wonderful night. And, just so thrilled to meet you, Joe.
Great to meet you too, Camille. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers. Bye. That about wraps it up for this episode of the Unbridely Podcast. For the links and resources we mentioned, please head to the show notes. And if you love the show, please review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're on now so you don't miss out on a single episode. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, weddings are a team sport. Catch you soon.